Hey YouTube, it's Sox in here, and it looks like we have a dead battery issue here on this game that I got here for Super Mario Land 2. So, we are going to swap the battery out. I'm going to show you how to do that in a very few short, simple steps. Let's get to it. If you have a Gameboy driver, you can just go ahead and unscrew that. You can find these very easily on eBay or Amazon. They're usually labeled as Gamebit, like a Nintendo Gamebit. Screwdriver kit or pack. Oh, you always like to get a pack. This one comes with SNES, NES, Genesis, GameCube, PlayStation, all that stuff. It all works. Now that we got it open, we're gonna put that screw in a safe place so we don't lose it. Here's our battery. It looks like a new battery, but we're gonna test it with this multimeter to make sure that it has the proper voltage. First of all, I want to say whoever did this battery did a horrible job. This is clearly not the first time this battery was replaced. This is just absolutely sloppy. I do not like this. Anyway, we weren't getting any reading from the multimeter, so we're gonna put a new battery in there. But first we're gonna check that new battery and make sure we get a reading out of that one. Here I have a set of batteries. I'm kind of running low, but we'll grab a new battery right here. I'm testing the new battery, and we are getting a reading on that new battery. So this one is just showing, let's see what we got here. Showing 0. So yeah, it's dead. We're gonna replace it. We're actually gonna do this the easy way. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some flux and wet this up. And they did a terrible job with the solder, so we're actually gonna add solder to that. And then we're gonna use a solder sucker and suck it up. Some people think it's weird when you say you're gonna add solder to remove solder, but it does work. We're gonna do it here. Okay, and what you're essentially gonna be seeing here is I'm gonna be adding solder to these solder joints. Adding fresh solder there. And you're like, if you want to remove the battery, why would you add solder? Well, there's a reason you do that. It makes it flow better. So you can see the battery already came up right away from one side, and I didn't even try to remove anything. So there we go. And now what we'll do is we'll add more flux, and I'll show you what we'll do next. Let's see if we can use the solder sucker. We'll see if that'll work. Now, normally you would want some kind of a vise, board vise to hold this in, but I don't have it. All right. Again, you don't want to keep the iron there too long, because you keep the iron there too long, and what you end up doing is burning the other components and traces. So that took some of it off, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the solder braid now. This should also work pretty well. Okay, and now it's perfect. Okay, so it's still a little attached to this side, so we're gonna do the same thing again with the solder sucker. Also gotta be careful, make sure that battery doesn't explode. Alright, even though it's pretty much dead, you never know. And it's still on there a little bit, so then we're gonna use the braid, and again I'm gonna add more flux. We are going to use the braid. Remember, you have to be careful because the ribbon does get hot. Even if you're holding it far away, it does still get hot. There you go. Perfect. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna be mindful of where we put the battery. On this board, it'll have markings on it. If you can see here on the left, it's negative. And over here, it's hard to see with the light, but that's positive. On the battery, it'll tell you that the top portion is positive. You see where it has a plus? That top section is positive, and this bottom section is negative. Now, I don't need this extra little lip here. As you can see, when I place this battery down, there's gonna be like a lip there. I don't need that lip, so I'm gonna have to modify these prongs to make a connection. I'm gonna clip the top and I'm gonna bend this a little bit and make contact with that. And then I will solder it in. So what you're gonna see, what I did here was I clipped the battery with some scissors and then I bent this down to make a nice little sturdy connection there. I'm gonna flux these areas and then I'm gonna pre-tin. I'm gonna put some solder onto this, a little bit more on the pad, and then I'm gonna solder it in. And so why don't we start by adding a little bit of fresh solder to that pad. Going to be a little bit liberal there because I wanted to make a good connection. We're going to do the same over here. We're going to tin this pad with a liberal amount of solder, but we're not going to overdo it. Okay. So one thing I definitely want to do before I solder that battery in is I want to use a Q-tip with some IPA, isopropyl alcohol. This one is 91%, but you should use 99 if you have. And I'm going to wipe this area down because I don't want excess flux on the board. I don't know if that's going to cause any kind of corrosion, so I'm just going to wipe this area down with IPA. Nice and clean. Use the other side to dry it up. And now we're off to the races because we're gonna start soldering this battery on. So first, like I said, it's gonna go on this way. Let me add some solder to the bottom of that. Again, flux the bottom. Let's see how this battery takes. Not bad. Let's see the other side as well. Not bad. All right, so the pads are tinned, and now we make sure it's the correct orientation. That's positive to positive, negative to negative, okay. I'm gonna place my thumb up here. There we go. Flip the board over. There we go. Our new battery's on, but first thing we want to do is make sure that the battery is working. So we're going to take out our multimeter and we're going to check and we are getting a battery reading. We're no longer getting 00, so that's great. Again, make sure that you put this correctly and you don't put it backwards because you can corrupt your board. I blew a fuse on a Super Nintendo by putting a battery in a cartridge wrong, so very dangerous. You can do some damage. Make sure you do this correctly. If you're not sure, just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now we're gonna use a Q-tip and we're gonna clean this area up. Like I said, with some isopropyl alcohol. IPA for short. Make sure there's no excess flux on the board, and then we're gonna screw it back together. I screwed my cartridge back together and I'm pretty scared. First, let's see if it turns on. Okay, that's a good sign. All right, so all I have to do now is play through a little bit of this and then save it and then see if it saves. So, played a couple levels and we got over to the second level of the tree zone. So it's about like 2 or 3 levels that I played. Here we go. I'm gonna hold my breath, turn it off, take it out. Let's actually try it in the analog pocket this time. Oh, the scary part. Oh, I didn't save. You gotta be kidding me. So it didn't work, so what I did was I beat a boss, and after I beat the boss, I pressed A, B, start and select to soft reset it. So now it's showing 5. But let's turn it off. Remove the cartridge, which should remove any of like the RAM data or anything. Actually, let's do one even better. You saw that it was on 5. Let's put it in the Gameboy now. Turn the Gameboy on and see if it's on level 5. It is. It is on level 5. So, I guess in this game you just have to beat the boss, but the battery is replaced and saved, and we're good to go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like my channel, like and subscribe. Make sure you spread love, not hate, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.